Okay, so we're back. We were talking about having the switch in here, I believe, last, and we were showing that we had, without the switch in there, we were showing that we had 12 volts on the middle pin here. If you look, show that we had 12 pins on, 12 volts on that middle pin there, and then we plugged in the slide out switch, and then we saw that we had 0.7 on this middle switch, or middle pin, 0.7 on this outside pin, and 0.7 on this outside pin right here, where I move my thumb.
So, let's see that. Okay.
So basically the middle and the outside pins, the one at the top, one at the bottom.
Yep.
Now, I wasn't thinking about it when we were talking about it earlier, but what happened was apparently our switch was shorting out. So our switch was essentially our ground. So it was all right for us to show those 0.7 volts on all these pins when we had it plugged in, because we put our own load in, which was the light bulb over there. If you look again, remember we had the light bulb there, so that was our new load. So we were basically on the ground side over here because our switch was grounding out, so seeing those numbers was okay. So what we also did off camera, we took a battery jumper and we jumped it directly to the motor, and the motor works and it's moving. So we know that the motor is good. But we also figured out how to jumper the switch, which tells us pretty much that the switch is bad for sure. Okay. So what we did was, I'll go and explain these wires to you because I had to do a lot of research online, but nobody told me how to jump this. I just figured it out on my own. The middle pin, okay, that's power in from the battery. Okay. Now, the top pin right there, that's motor in. The bottom pin is motor out. So you got power coming in from the middle pin from the battery, okay? And when it's plugged up to this slide out switch, then from this top pin up here where my thumb is, that's where power goes into the motor underneath the couch, and then the power comes out. Let me show you here. On our particular model, if you look right here, okay, so if you look, the colors are in reverse here on the motor, but the power is actually the black wire, and it's connected to the red wire of our motor for the slide out. And then the red wire, you see the thick gauge red wire, that is our power out of the motor. So we got power in on the black, and then it goes into the motor, and then it comes out power out on this big red one. Don't pay attention to the colors on the motor wires, because they're like reverse colors, but we're just focusing on the big gauge wires. Okay. All right. So coming back up here, we have power in on the middle pin. Then this goes motor in to the motor over there. Then it comes motor out. Motor out comes to this point right here. And I can prove it to you right now. Let me show you real quick. So we have 12 volts, or we got 13.5 because the inverter is charging it, right? 13.5 from the battery. Then we're jumpering this because we don't have a switch, so we're jumpering this to the top, which is going to be motor in. That goes underneath the couch, right? So that's motor in. Then if we actually had a switch here, it would all work. Then the motor out comes out, and look, guess what? Look right here. Power. That's motor out.
Okay.
So this wire right here, this red wire going to a black wire.
Yep.
See, that's actually motor out right there.
So it means it's got the power to operate the actual motor itself.
Yeah, to operate a motor, you have to have power and ground.
Yeah.
So we had to get the power to motor in to run through that motor, and then we got to get that motor or ground. So guess what? This is the motor out. That's power, but we have to ground it to make it work. So this is where we're going to work it. Okay? So we have our little jumper wire. We don't want to touch that.
What part don't you want to touch?
We don't want to touch that because that's power. We'll ground it out.
Okay.
I'm holding it with a with this because it'll get hot.
Oh, really? Whoa. Holy crap.
See, it works.
Wow. That's
Yep.
pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome,
How'd you do
I know.
that?
Yeah, because I'm jumpering now. I figured it out on my own. I couldn't find anything on the internet, right? So I'm trying to help some people out because
Yeah. that's
I was
cool.
struggling to figure anything out.
So where'd you get this wire from, and what kind of wire is that you're using?
This is a paper clip
Oh.
that
really?
unfolded.
Oh, really? Oh.
So then what I'm going to do
That's
is
easy, I guess.
I'm just going to touch the other
So
ground.
you can't let those wires touch?
Nope.
Because you'll ground them out?
Yep. So this is the other ground up here.
Yeah.
Well, they're both grounds. If I want to bring it back out,
Yeah.
I have to move this
Okay.
from here to the bottom one. I have to do reverse polarity.
Okay.
Let's see here. Hold on.
Sorry, guys, it's a little
Yep.
blurry.
Okay, so we got that right there.
Okay.
So now all we have to do is just touch. Hold that for me if you can.
I'm scared.
No, you can hold it. It's fine.
Okay.
Yep, just hold it there. I'm just trying to make it small enough.
Okay.
Just don't want to burn myself with this. Okay, so we got power going to the other. We're doing power in on the other wire at the motor because we want to reverse it.
So we want to close.
Yes.
Want to close up the slide or
Yep,
open?
we want to open it back
Oh,
up
we want to open the slide.
because it was coming in for a little bit.
Yep, that's
All
right.
right.
Yep.
So if I can get this on here.
Okay, don't touch that other one. Whoa. Is it supposed to spark? Maybe?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yep. It's out. Ah! Is that normal?
Well,
No.
it did that a little bit, but you know, it's because that doesn't carry a lot.
I guess it kind of melted the plastic aspect, didn't it?
Yeah. You really need to use a little
Yeah.
bit better wiring, I guess.
Really? Okay.
But you know,
Oh well.
this is pulling a lot of amperage. So,
Yeah.
anyways, that should still work. Just gotta sand that down a little bit and melted it a little bit.
Do you really want people copying what we just did?
Well, you know, it pulls a lot of amps, and this isn't exactly a great gauge wire. I'm jumping it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
So what if you had a choice of proper wire to use? What would you actually use to
Well,
jump
I
that
probably
in the
could have
future?
used a thicker gauge jumper. That
Yeah.
would have helped. It could have carried it, but this is kind of little, you know,
Yeah.
because it pulls quite a bit of amperage. I think it's a 15 amp circuit, but
Yeah.
who knows how much that motor is pulling?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, well, at least we know that the actual motor for the slide works.
We know it
And
works,
we've
and we know that
proven
when we
that the switch
jumper
is
it,
bad.
when we jumper it, we know the fuse isn't blowing, so we
That's
know
true,
it's
yeah.
the switch.
Yep, we know it's a switch.
Yeah. So
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
yeah, I don't know what the amp rating is on this thing, but next time you might want to use a bigger gauge jumper.
Okay. Ah, there's a wasp
Yeah,
baby.
that was
I'm
a
gonna-
wall spinner. Okay, go ahead. Watch out.